Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to continue talking about how important focus is as an artist, and we've got a great example. So you've probably heard of the world-renowned street artist Banksy. Apparently he's currently unveiling a new series of animal-themed artworks in and around London. They're popping up a bit like a Netflix serial, getting everybody all excited. And the question that I have today is, how can I focus like Banksy? The most common obstacle between the artists that I work with and their creativity is, without a shadow of a doubt, focus. And quite often the culprit for that lack of focus, the reason for the lack of focus is seen to be, there's just life is getting in the way. There's other things to do. I've got other responsibilities. But really, even deeper than that is a lack of clarity on personal values that they want to connect with through their art. And once they have that clarity in the current moment on what values in their life they want to connect with through their art, all of those procrastinations and displacement activities just fall by the wayside because there's a path forward. And Banksy is a wonderful example of how an artist has and is currently benefiting from focus within their artistic practice to really be in the flow of their artwork. And the framework that I teach is a working artist statement that really gives that pinpoint clarity in the moment of what values you want to focus on as an artist. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a look at Banksy's current series that is evolving as we speak and reverse engineer a working artist statement. So essentially saying, if I were Banksy and I were creating this art, how could I use a working artist statement to help me to achieve the clarity of focus that is necessary to be able to consistently produce artwork that is highly aligned with who I want to be as a person and as an artist. Okay, so I've got Banksy's public Instagram down here. Just come take a look. And this current series started about a week ago. Let me see. What can I see? I can see a goat perched on the side of a building with rocks falling down, and there's just wonderful interplay between the animal and the existing building, being really perched atop that shoulder of the building that's poking out from the wall there. Just you can see that he's really thought about where to place the goat. It wouldn't have made sense anywhere else. In fact, I'm asking, why hasn't the goat been there sooner? It's just the perfect spot to put a goat. So real sense of playfulness. So what I'm going to do as I go along, I'm going to make a few notes on the kind of values that I can see present in his artwork, and we'll start to see common threads which will then help us to put together this working artist statement. So we'll have a real example of how potentially an artist like Banksy and yourself could benefit from a working artist statement to achieve real focus so that you can really get into the flow of your artwork. So yeah, we've got this playfulness, we've got this interplay between the architecture and the animal itself. And if we look at the second one, so the series, clearly the theme he's chosen are animals. Someone was noticing on a YouTube thread that a lot of them are endangered animals, so you might start thinking along the lines of our the human's connection with nature and all these kind of things. I think once we start talking about these things, it can be a little bit subjective and not necessarily what the artist was going for themselves. So it's worth being mindful of that. And I want when I'm putting a working artist statement together, I want it to be as objective as possible. We'll see how we go. So we've got, objectively a theme of animals, and so far all in black silhouette stencil. Definitely seeing the playfulness of just the out of placeness of the elephants on the side of the building. And personally it evokes a kind of melancholy feeling, because these places that he's choosing, they're quite lifeless places. Like the windows here have been closed over. There's for me, I'm feeling a bit of melancholy. The playfulness is obvious, and that really, I feel very confident in saying, this is something that he's wanting in his artwork. The melancholy, that might just be, something that I'm projecting into the mix. But we'll put it there anyway. I'm gonna play here. I'm gonna say, hey, imagine I'm Banksy, and this is me putting together a working out statement. So we're going to have melancholy in there as a feeling or as an emotion that I'm looking to connect with. The joy of those monkeys swinging along without a care in the world, and then the high pressure kind of city environment around them, the train and the people, and it's really quite claustrophobic, and it really does throw all of that into sharp relief with the monkeys just hanging out, swinging on by. So yeah, that kind of out of placeness, it's kind of evoking a feeling of a need to protect, really, a kind of protectiveness, a kind of like this is something good that I want to invite into my life, and I want to have more of this, whether it's literally a connection with nature, or it's the playfulness, it's the joyfulness I can see in his artwork here. And then so a really strong value that is emerging is the interplay between the image and the environment and the architecture. So this is something that's exciting him about his art, the technique that he's using to create the visual impact, which is just so apparent here. He's really thought, okay, at night that satellite dish is really being picked up by maybe the street lamp, and a wolf is just going to look amazing on that. And then he went and did it. So there's this really something about freedom and agency, and the power to be playful, to be nonconformist, to be true to one's own individuality. Really, this sense of wanting to show up authentically. I think these things are coming through to me. Anyway, absolutely objectively, he is very much interested in the interplay between the environment and the image. Perfect example here of the pelican picking the fish off of the sign. And super playful, super humorous, joyful, in a space that's sure, the fish bar is lovely. That's the thing. So the other places that we've looked at, there've been kind of infrastructure in between places, or like the edge of a building. This one here is going more. He's interplaying with a lived-in space here, which is a development. So it brings in ideas of community and being more a part of the living part of the space. So yeah, it's like the animals are coming into contact with the living community, rather than being in those those empty, rather lifeless places. Instead, here it's, you know, they're in a place where you'd expect to see some human activity. Okay, so yeah, I was waffling a little bit there. It's important, you know, when you're looking at art, it's important to allow yourself to waffle to yourself. And when you're making art, it's important to allow yourself to waffle to yourself and see it as a numbers game. You know, 1 in 10 chance is going to be awesome, and you have to do the other 9 just to get to the 1. And I think it's the same with thoughts. You know, you just got to think of all the waffly, rather vague, kind of woolly thoughts until you get to the, you know, the real thing that you're looking for. So a good thing I've been taking notes, I'd say. So we've got, yeah, that interplay with the existing environment, that contrast of the lively energy of the animal subject and the deadness or emptiness of the space, you know, the dilapidated billboard, really contrasting with that life of the cat. Yeah, and yeah, just really trying to open myself just to seeing it for what it is right now. You know, so asking myself, you know, what is it that if I were to continue this series, what kind of focus would I need? I know that it's going to be animals. I know that it's going to be about interplay between the existing environment and the animal itself, and often that contrast between the energy and life of the animal and the kind of deadness and emptiness and lifelessness of the space. Those are things that are really driving me forward at the moment. And I'm already feeling like I could continue this. I could continue with this series. We've got the fish on the police box. So continuing with the animal theme, we're, you know, it's one of Banksy's themes that stretch back further, you know, over decades really, is this really standing up for the underdog and poking playful fun at the authorities. And this connects with that. This connects with that. Yeah, so animals, feeling of kind of out of placeness, maybe melancholy, playfulness, and of course there's that just visual symmetry of the police box kind of looking like a fish tank. So just a bit like the goat in the beginning. It's like a goat would just look perfect perched on that little shoulder of the building. In this aquarium like police box, fish would look perfect in this. There's a kind of whimsy to it. It's kind of whimsical. It's kind of like really valuing those off the cuff kind of thoughts. Wouldn't it be great? You know, it wouldn't just would make sense for that police box to be filled with piranhas. Yeah, that's funny. And then his most recent piece, just, yeah, it's visual humor. It's just so funny. I mean, look, he's put the traffic cone on the front of the of the silver Micra, and it's very witty. You know, I think there's visual puns going on. He's having a joke, and he wants to have a laugh. You know, he's being light-hearted. He's saying, you know, let's have a good time. Who can't get behind that, hey? All right, so we've got a few things to work on here, I think. We've got a few values for art and values for life and emotions that we can pull together into a working artist statement, so that if we were Banksy, I'm saying if I was Banksy, if you were Banksy, if you're an artist who wanted to have the kind of focus that it takes to create a series of artworks that belong together, then a working artist statement is really going to help. So here's my working artist statement as Banksy. For my latest street art series, I am creating animal-themed spray stencils to enjoy bringing playfulness, energy, and joy for life to empty urban spaces. I cannot wait to get down to creating visual humor via the interplay of my animal subjects and the environment as I find it. on my journeys throughout the city. So one of the key ingredients to thriving as an artist is focus. And we've seen from Banksy, wonderful example of how an artist can achieve flow within their artwork through having focus. A very simple way of giving yourself the benefit of that focus is to practice writing yourself working artist statements that give you clarity on the values in your life and in your art and the kind of feelings that you want to connect with through your artwork, so that it opens you up to enjoying all of those things as they occur to you while you're creating. It's a bit like being on holiday and having a day ahead of you, and sometimes you can just cast out into the street and make it up as you go along, and this can be quite fun. Yet as a plan for making the most of your visit, it's probably not the best way to go about it. What we want to do is have some kind of itinerary, some kind of plan. First I'm going to visit this landmark first, and then I'm going to go to this place, and then maybe I'll have a little bit of a wander here. So planning the spontaneity, planning the opportunity for your intuition through giving it a foundation through a working artist statement is really going to help you to get your focus as an artist, and I really do recommend it. So again, there's another video where I talk in depth about the working artist statement, how to easily choose what to paint next. I'll pop it here so that you can take a look at that. But for now, just I wonder what Banksy's going to do next. Thank you very much for watching the video, and if you're at the stage where you're wanting help and support around going from those earlier stages of artistic development through to thriving as a unique and original artist, where you feel confident with absolute clarity in your voice as an artist, then please do reach out. You can book a call with me. There'll be a link below. You can just take a look at my calendar and find a convenient time for yourself, and yeah, love to have a chat. So until next time, bye for now.